Yo, Joe, and what do you know? Welcome to T's Multiverse. I'm your host, Tyrus, and man, it is time. The moment has arrived. I've been teasing this video for some time, but now is the time, folks. And that is my G.I. Joe Classified Wish List Part 2 video. Now, Part 1, I had a blast with it, and I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody that watched Part 1. It's one of the most watched videos on this channel, so thanks to everybody that watched that video and everyone who will be watching it. So huge shout out to you all. Thank you so much. This is a trilogy, so I got a third part coming, so stay tuned for that. But man, we're gonna jump into this one because this one's been a long time coming, folks. Before I get this thing started, I just want to share a few things with you all. Now, there are a few characters that I had on my list that I took off because little rumors, heard it through the grapevine, that there are a few characters that may or may not be revealed at the upcoming G.I. Joe June events. So stay tuned for that, folks. G.I. Joe June. But the characters that I did leave off was Shipwreck. I left off Rock and Roll. I left off Cover Girl. And I also left off Mutt and Junkyard. So they were at the top of my list, folks, but I took them off because there's a rumor that they will be maybe announced at one of these events during the G.I. Joe June. So we'll see about that, because y'all know how it is with the G.I. Joes. I don't know why there's just such a delay on these figures, but it's a mystery to me. But I'm going to stop babbling, folks, because I want to get to this list here. So sit back, relax, gear up, and get ready, because I'm going to reveal to you all my G.I. Joe Wish List Part 2. Let's get to it. Let's go, Yo Joe. All right, at number 1, I have Airborne. Now, you gotta love Airborne. The great Peter Cullen, a.k.a. Optimus Prime, voiced this guy. He had a telekinetic link to his brother, but that was one of my most favorite episodes. I thought he was an interesting character. His brother had some sort of a telekinesis ability or whatnot, but, really wish we could have saw more of Airborne. I thought the voice of Peter Cullen went hand in hand with this character, so hopefully we may get this character at some point or another, but I have Airborne at the top of my list. All right, up next we have Airtight, the brainy Airtight. I always thought that guy was so cool, man, and I love the yellow and the green costume and everything like that. He was one of my most favorite figures when I got him as a kid. I just thought that just costume and the colors just popped so well. Just made him just an attractive figure to play with within my collection. He was a really smart, heady guy, man, that could figure out things for the G.I. Joe team. I know that one episode they had that breakout of some sort of I don't know what it was. It was some sort of mutagen type of something that happened, and it was seeking to engulf the whole city, and he figured out how to get rid of it or whatnot. I know I'm doing an awful job of explaining this, but really cool character overall, and I love Airtight, and I got him on my list. All right, up next we have old school Grunt figure. Now, this is one of the original G.I. Joe figures that they released back in the day, and characters that they released back in the day, and this just takes me back to when I first started collecting G.I. Joe, and Grunt was one of the original figures. He's somebody that I'm really hoping that we do get to see one of these days. Simple costume. I hope they just stay simple with this guy. It's just simple green costume, shirt and pants, had a helmet. Now, I do have Grunt in that G.I. Joe 3-inch carded collection that they released some time ago, and it seems like they discontinued that line, but I was able to get Grunt before they did. And actually, these figures are available on Big Bad Toy Store now. So if you missed out on those 3-inch G.I. Joe figures that they discontinued at Walmart, they're actually now on Big Bad Toy Store. But I do have him in that 3-inch form. So hopefully we'll get Grunt in the G.I. Joe Classified arena, or maybe the G.I. Joe Retro Carded line. Maybe we get Grunt in that. Who knows? But I'm hoping we get that guy, because he was always a favorite of mine growing up. And up next, we have my main man, Tripwire. Now, Tripwire was always pretty cool. You know, he always had that metal detector to detect anything that might be happening on the scene. I always thought that was the coolest thing back in the day. He had the little wire detector. I'm pretty sure nowadays it'd be a wireless device, maybe on this little gauntlet or whatever. But back in the day, you know, we had what we had. But I think he's a cool character, man. And again, I'm going back to the G.I. Joe roots, you know, with characters such as Grunt and Tripwire. These were the original characters. You know, I always loved the designs and just the simplicity of the characters that we had back in the day with these original Joes. So Tripwire was always a cool character. Again, a really heady, really smart character. And hopefully we'll get him one of these days as well. I just think we should get all these characters in the retro carded line. There is talk that they only have one more figure that they're going to announce. One or two more figures they're going to announce to that line. Who knows? We'll see. But overall, hopefully we get this guy some point or another within the next 50 years with the way G.I. Joe classifieds are released. But we'll see. Stay tuned. And up next, we have Flash with the Slugger vehicle. Now, I said with the Slugger vehicle because there is no reason in the world why we can't get a G.I. Joe classified figure with a vehicle. I mean, if McFarlane Toys is giving us vehicles with those big 7, 8-inch figures, there's no reason in the world why we can't get a vehicle like the Slugger with Flash. You know, it's like a one-seated small vehicle that you can place your classified figure in. So Flash had the coolest helmet. You know, again, another simple character. And it just reminded me of a guy just wearing headphones on top of a regular helmet. But then he had that Slugger vehicle that was just so awesome. So hopefully we can get something like that one of these days, or at least just a Flash figure, and for them not to mess up his design or try to update it in any way. Just give us that classic Flash that we had with that character. All right, and up next we have Snow Job. Now, you know, we need more of a guy that can kind of lead us through those snowy, wintry days. So I feel like, you know, Snow Job is the guy for that. He was the first G.I. Joe snowman that they revealed during the animated series. And then after that, they ushered in Iceberg. But yeah, I want to start off with Snow Job, again, who led the G.I. Joes through, you know, those wintry snow missions. So I always liked that character. Again, I thought he was just another one of those cool classic G.I. Joe characters that we had in that animated series. Hopefully within the next 100 years we'll get Snow Job. Who knows? All right. And up next, is there a doctor in the house? Because, man, we need one, and we need one fast. And if you're going to get one, you got to get the doc. Now, I ran it and I raved about the doc during my last video, or a few videos ago, when Super 7 announced the release of the Doc figure, and he looks absolutely phenomenal, man. So hopefully we'll get Doc in the G.I. Joe classified line. It's a little bit more cheaper figure as opposed to a $50 figure, but I'm still going to get that Doc figure. If anything, I'm telling you folks, I've said it in past videos, I'm going to get that Duke, and I want to get that Doc, if anything, from that Super 7 line. But hopefully we'll get Doc in the G.I. Joe classified line. Again, he's another one of those specialty figures that was much needed within the G.I. Joe ranks. I mean, he was the Doc. I mean, he saved Duke's life in the G.I. Joe movie when they really honestly killed him off, but they brought him back. But, you know, we need a Doc. We needed a snowman. And, you know, Doc, man, he was just so laid back, you know, so cool, you know, so calm, so collected. You know, he sit back, read the comics. He had the green shades on and everything. So Doc was he was the man. So hopefully, so Doc, he was just cool, man. He was just plain out cool. All right, I done said cool like 50 times, and I'm sorry, but it is what it is. All right, and now we're moving more into Cobra. All right, so up next we have more of a much needed character on the Cobra side of things, you know, and that is a communication specialist. Now, see, on the G.I. Joe side of things, we have Breaker, and he came with a Ram Cycle. So we need a communication specialist for Cobra. So I think the Viper will be perfect. again, seems like Hasbro is really kneeling into, army building a lot of those Cobra figures. And you really just need one Televiper. It's just that one guy. And I thought it was just cool how they showed a little communication things running across his little visor or whatever. But it'd be awesome to get a communication specialist for Cobra. So hopefully we'll get that. Maybe that's something that we get announced. Who knows? I just got a feeling we're going to get something that's going to surprise us soon within the Hasbro reveals. So hopefully we'll get a Televiper. We'll see. Stay tuned. And we have up next, old Copperhead. Now, Copperhead, he had that country accent. He looked like he could be a pro wrestler. He just had that pro wrestler look. He had the little helmet. He had the little sleeveless shirt on. Everything just screamed pro wrestler with the Copperhead, and he had the accent to boot, man. I always thought the vehicle that he rode, that little swamp vehicle that he had was awesome as well. They might say that it's too big to create for the classified character, which I really don't think it is. It'd be awesome if we can get Copperhead with that little swamp vehicle that he rode in. But if we could just get the character itself, that'd be a win, because I think he'd be a much needed character that we can add to our Cobra team. So Copperhead with his southern accent and all would be so awesome. And again, let's keep these characters in their classic forms. So got Copperhead. And last but not least, I have yet another specialty character within the Cobra side of things. And since I had Snow Job on the G.I. Joe side, why not give Cobra their snow specialist in the Cobra Snow Trooper? Now, the G.I. Joe classified team are really kneeling into the Cobra troop builders. And man, I'm pretty sure people would really love to troop build the Cobra Snow Troopers. I can see these troopers built much like they did with the Alley Vipers. The Alley Vipers just came with accessories galore. So I can see the Cobra Snow Troopers be given that same treatment. But I always thought they were just, again, a really nicely designed character. And again, I feel like this is another troop builder that can only enhance this G.I. Joe Classified collection for fans. So I got, last but not least, the Cobra Snow Trooper. All right, folks, that's all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this G.I. Joe Wishlist Part 2. Appreciate you tuning in. Now stay tuned for Part 3. Part 3 is coming. And as you can see, I had more Joes than Cobra this episode. But on Part 3, folks, I will get back to having 5 Joes, 5 Cobras. So you definitely don't want to miss Part 3, folks, because it's going to be pretty interesting. So stay tuned for Part 3. But again, I hope you enjoyed Part 2. Definitely comment below, folks. Let me know, what are your thoughts on my picks? Are these figures that you would like to see? Definitely share below, what would your G.I. Joe classified wish list look like? I'm interested to see. Be sure to always share your comments below, folks. I love interacting with you all and seeing what you all are thinking about the videos. So be sure to do that. And folks, until next time, be good to one another, be safe, stay tuned, and always remember, you just always got to remember this, that knowing is half the battle. Until next time, folks, bye for now.